exactly what week are we in. It's getting really interesting because we're getting to, I would say, peak part of the training, meaning that the intensity and volume of training is ramping up quite a bit. We are in week 7 right now. So this week I wanted to talk a little bit about speed workouts and tempo runs specifically. Those runs work on your threshold or your VO2 max and your ability to really increase that VO2 max and increase the amount of oxygen that you take in during a long period of time. Today's Wednesday. The workout that we have is mile repeats. So 1.25 mile at conversational pace, a 90-second walk, 1 mile at 1 mile in 7 minutes and 10 seconds, twice with a 2-minute rest in between, and then a 1.25 mile cool down. So I'll break down a little bit of the different type of runs between tempo, intervals. I don't really have hills in this plan just because Chicago is a flatter course, so Runna created me a plan without the hill workouts. But I'll break a little bit down what those do for me, how incorporating them into my training has been really beneficial. But those are typically tough workouts, really intense workouts. So as usual, we'll drink our trusted carb mix, go get the workout done, and then we'll dive more into that breakdown. I said I was going to check in after my run. It is now 4:38 p.m. so I didn't do that, but here we are. So obviously this week I mentioned that I wanted to talk a little bit about tempo runs and intervals and what has been added to my training, which I find really interesting because last year I did do interval training, but I would just do random workouts that I would find, and it was very often, honestly, I only did 800-meter repeats. One workout that's pretty popular, and it's a good gauge to see how fast you can run a marathon, I would say, is doing, let's say you want to run a marathon in 4 hours, doing 800-meter reps in 4 minutes, and then taking 4-minute break. And if you're able to do that, I believe 10 times, it's a pretty good gauge of you being able to run a marathon in 4 hours. So did that quite a bit last year, but it was very repetitive, and I think that my body kind of adjusted to that. And this time around with Runna, we're really switching it up. So an example today, and I tried to show some of the reps. We had we had a mile repeats workout. So we started with a mile and a 1.25 mile warm up. Then it was 1 mile at a 7 minute, I think I mentioned it, 7 minutes and 10 seconds per mile pace. Well, just 1 mile in 7 minutes 10 seconds. Then we had a 2-minute rest, and then another mile again at 7 minutes 10 seconds. The goal of these is, I know like the tendency, especially for me when I do speed workouts, is just take off and run as fast as possible. But it's really important to actually be able to control your pace, not just to be able to last the whole time, but also to be able to know pacing during your marathon. One of the things that's super important, and I think that I failed in previous marathons, is really just taking out so fast and not being able to gauge my actual pace with the adrenaline and everything. So being able to control yourself regardless of how you feel is also really important. And obviously if it's way too easy, picking up the pace, and then Runna's going to adjust your pace based on that. But I found it challenging enough, so I think that we're right where I'm supposed to be. I also took a look at where my heart rate, I just asked ChatGPT where my heart rate should be in those workouts, and right around 80 to 90% of your max heart rate, which I believe I'm right there right now. And then on top of that, we also have tempo workouts. So on Friday is going to be a tempo workout, and now it's over under miles. So this week is a little interesting, I find, just because we have a big, I think we had a big workout on Sunday, and then we had our longest run of the block on Sunday coming up. So I think that they tried to make the week not too intense. But this time around, we're going to have, once again, a 2-mile workout. So a 1 mile warm up, a 2-mile workout, and the first mile is at 8 minutes and 10 seconds per mile, and then the second mile is at 7 minutes and 25 seconds per mile, but you don't get a walking break in between the two. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, I think it's going to be fun, challenging. Those really, I found, honestly, tempo workouts I didn't have them in my previous blocks, and I found those to really be the hardest, because you're pushing faster than your marathon pace, but you're doing that for an extended period of time, for a mile, 2 miles, sometimes 3 to 4 miles. And that part I hadn't really experienced before. So I definitely do find that a little more challenging, and I think that it's helped getting better. And these workouts are important just because, you know, your ability to sustain hard efforts, because obviously spoken in the past about the difference between aerobic and anaerobic fitness. And I always mix up the two, but aerobic fitness, I believe, is the ability to sustain an effort for a long period of time, and anaerobic fitness is more the ability to push beyond a certain threshold, right? So push towards the higher limits of your max heart rate. And both of those are important, because obviously in the marathon, you're trying to sustain a harder effort for a very long time, for a longer time. So, and you want to get to a point where your body isn't breaking down, because oftentimes I think that in the past I thought, oh, I'm cramping up, and I thought that it was probably a dehydration issue, but realistically, hydration, I do sweat a lot, but hydration is something I'm always very dialed in on, and I'm really good at. It's more so my muscles shutting down because I deplete my glycogen store and I don't have the ability to last for a long time. So all of those areas are getting better. So we're definitely pushing ourselves, and I can see myself getting a lot fitter. And I spoke about last week with the training that I'm doing from a weight training standpoint, I'm really happy with how strong I'm staying. So even though I'm not losing a whole lot of weight right now, I'm staying strong and I'm getting fitter, and I'm feeling really good. So we're really going to hope that that translates to the marathon. But I do have a very interesting rest of the week. I will try to check in either post or during this over under run on Friday, and then we're going actually to my mom's house over the weekend, and my mom and I are gonna race a half marathon. I can't remember if we were doing the half marathon or the 10K, but we're gonna race that together. Really excited for that. But obviously I have a longer run than that, so I'll have to do a little bit of my run before that, and then do the rest of the run with my mom. But we'll check out for now, and stay tuned for the rest of the week. All right, good morning. Just finished our tempo workout, still by the lake. The tempo workout, what was it today? It was an over under mile, so a warm up mile, then 1 mile that was supposed to be done at 8:10, and then another mile that was supposed to be done at 7:25, I believe. We did the first mile that was supposed to be at 8:10 at 7:58, and the second one at 7:14 that was supposed to be done at 7:25. So really good, right on pace. That was really good, and felt good. Honestly, it felt challenging, but also really strong. So really happy with that. Now I'm gonna get in my car, go home, and then finish the recap for the week. Bye. All right, we are back home. We are all showered, ready for the day. It was a little hectic of a morning, so I didn't record all the things I wanted to, but obviously recorded the end of my workout. Got a total of 4.07 miles at an average pace of 8:33 per mile. Obviously showed the reps earlier. Really good workout, honestly. I really enjoyed it. That's a little bit of how the week looks like when you add some of the speed and tempo session. When I do some of my speed sessions, what I really enjoy is sometimes going to the track and doing a track workout there. Once you're on the track, you just kind of feel speedy and fast. And then tempo sessions, I try to obviously the interval workouts, really working on your VO2 max. You're pushing kind of that your pace to somewhat your limits, right? And then I did a quick Google search to understand the main purpose of tempo runs, and it said here the main purpose is to enhance your body's ability to create lactate, a byproduct of intense exercise, allowing you to run faster for longer, before fatigue sets in. So obviously when you're running a marathon and you start racing them or trying to PR, things of that nature, that's what it comes down to, is being able to push yourself, not just being at that comfortable pace or comfortable range, is being able to push yourself for a longer period of time. So could be something beneficial to add to the training. But I also think that just in general, honestly, tempo runs, I've really enjoyed them to switch up a little bit, the not feeling like all of your runs are so mundane, especially as you start. You may be going on a lot of easy runs, which there's absolutely no issue with that, but for myself at least, sometimes I find it I get bored, and that mental block for me makes those easy runs even harder than they should be. So being able to switch off between that and a tempo run, where example you're going for a 5 kilometer run and you'll be like, okay, I'll go 1 kilometer really easy, 2 kilometers where I push the pace just to go a tiny bit faster, and then 1 kilometer where I push it and go even faster than that, and then doing a 1 kilometer cool down, whatever it is, right? It doesn't have to be a structured plan or structured tempo workout. Just varying paces in your workout a little bit could be something that's helpful, just to keep your runs just a little exciting for yourself, and at the same time you're challenging yourself. So try it out, if you haven't before. I think that it's something that maybe you'll enjoy that over the easy runs. But yeah, no, that's a little bit of what the week looked like. Now, as I mentioned, this weekend I do have to go to my mom's house, so we're going to be running that race together. And so it's going to switch up a little bit. Where my mom lives, I thought where I live was hilly. Where my mom lives, it's even hillier. So the running for the next week is going to be interesting. But we are going into a deload week, so a lot of easy runs. I'm super excited to allow my body to recover. But for now, for today, a few things to do. I have to get a haircut. I have to go to the gym still. I have some physio to do, but for now, I think I'm going to watch a little bit of game film. I don't think I've ever mentioned that, but I do also coach high school, and we're about 3 weeks away from starting our training camp, so just want to make sure that I'm ready and kind of have a plan for our year. So that's what I'll do. But thanks as always for checking in with us. I will check in with all of you guys later, and have a great rest of your week. Take care.